You back again.
Hi, I'm Wanda,
James.
and we're in Becoming One, and I couldn't barely get it out. In
Oh,
Becoming One.
in becoming one. One, one. In becoming one.
Anyways, we were just thinking about how our prayer this week was romance and affection, and we want to give you guys a couple of ways that you could show romance or affection towards your spouse. So, we encourage you guys, you can do what you want, but um you can do what you want.
It's up to you.
It's up to you. But we're just going to give you a couple of ways that you could do that. One way that James is showing me currently love and affection is he's writing sweet words, sweet phrases, sentences, stuff like that on my mirror. So when I go in there in the mornings or go in there in the evenings, he'll have something different on there. It'll say something like, "You're beautiful, you're intelligent, you can do this." It'll have a scripture or something like that. That's something that you can do. And it doesn't take much except for.
It don't take any money. It just take your brain power.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't got no brain power, you need to. This might help.
Okay, what you got, James?
I think she tried to copy me this morning because I saw her little note on the side. But one way Wonder shows me, she turns around and she'll come up behind me and kind of give me a hug, or she'll sit down beside me and be like, "Oh, baby, my baby." So I think it's cool.
So, another way that you can show romance or affection to your spouse, love in different ways, would be the things that you say. Maybe come up with a new, if you don't have a routine of romance and affection, meaning for us, we say "I love you" before we leave, or give a kiss before we leave. And oftentimes in marriage, there's one person that is not used to that. And it takes a little bit longer for them to join in, or um, don't get offended if that happens. Just remember you're different, and your differences is what makes things so much better. So um, they'll catch on eventually. And to let you know, I'm the one who it's harder for me to pick up those things. So the kisses, I expect the kisses before he leaves, but it's harder for me to remember the kisses before I leave. And so,
What she expect?
but I expect them, you know.
Like she like, oh, that's wow, wow.
Okay, what you got?
Fellas, we ain't talking about romance and affection, but you know exactly what I'm saying. Ladies, you know too, but we're not talking about that right now. Another way that we can show romance and affection is, say, if we are in the store or if we are going, through the restaurant or something like that. Just holding your spouse hand to just to let them know that, hey, I got you. You're right here with me. So
Believe it or not, one type of affection is your gentleman. You know, you guys open the door for your spouse.
how some of y'all suck.
I-
Oh, my bad. My bad. That was not supposed to be. That was not supposed to come out. Maybe.
Open the door for
Open the
your
door.
spouse. It's just different. James always does that for me, and it's kind of interesting to hear the commentary around us. One time, James opened up the door. We were leaving out of a restaurant. There was a bunch of ladies kind of at their car next to our vehicle. They saw us leave out of the restaurant, and um, we walked to the car. He opened up the door for me again, and then walked around, the car and let himself in. And the women began starting to chat about, like, oh my gosh, did you see that? Like, where are they from? Like, why aren't guys like that more often anymore? And like all the commentary that goes around that. So, um, it seems like something that, is small and trivial. And yes, your wife may be an independent woman. I am. Like, I am a very, like, go-getter, a big go-getter myself, but that doesn't mean I don't want that affection. So, even if you do it every once in a while, it may kind of like, whoa, what just happened?
Catch
You
them off
know,
guard.
just catches them off guard. It's okay to catch them off guard once in a while.
And another way is, if you know that your spouse like a certain food or dessert or something like that, and they turn around and have it for you, it just shows to me some love and affection.
Hmm. That kind of reminds me of all the little trends that are going around where the husband is late picking the wife up or whatever, and then she's like upset, like, I've been standing in this sun all this day, all this time, and then he like shoves this food in her face, and she's like, yo, thank you so much, and then she's like lean back and like, oh, I'm so relaxed now, and oh, you always think of the best things to do, and all this stuff, like, it just completely turns. And so that's something to do. I mean, something to think of. That's something that comes to my mind. With that being said, there's a ministry called Redeeming Steps Ministries over in San Antonio, and we were having a weekend with them, and they happened to ask, what does your spouse would your spouse rather you look nice when you walk in the house, or when they walk in the house, or would they rather have a home cooked warm meal? And my thought was, James would like me to look nice. That was something, that we had talked about one time before, but I guess maybe we didn't talk about it with those specific um options. And anyways, and so he's like, "Oh, I want the home cooked meal and warm." I'm like, "That's not what I was expecting. That's not what you had said before, And so he's like, "No, I'd rather have this." And so, um, maybe one thing to love and affection is cook for your spouse. Not just cook for your spouse, or
If you know how
maybe
to cook.
if you know how to cook. If you don't know how to cook, it's okay. Maybe
They
buy,
got some recipes that if you
right.
know how to follow a recipe,
If
if you know how to follow a recipe.
Yeah, some people don't know
So
how to
some
do
of y'all
that.
can't boil water.
Um, you're just
My bad.
nice today. You know what? Maybe you could find a friend to help
That's a
you
good one.
cook, learn how to cook a
Yeah.
meal with you, and your spouse can I mean, your friend can leave before your spouse gets there, and you don't have to take all the credit for it, but it's an action that you're learning, you're trying to work on for your spouse. Um, that your spouse will appreciate if they're that kind of person. I would, though, state that you should ask that question.
Yeah.
Ask the question, figure it out. Study your spouse.
And another way that I think love, romance, affection,
Romans, yeah.
romance, romance, love and affection can be done is um, typically I don't allow my wife nor daughter to put gas in their car because I just feel as though that I should go put the gas in the car. They don't have to stand there and do it. I mean, they do it,
We do it sometimes,
sometimes,
but
but a lot of times I just want them to let me know so I can just go do it for them. That way they don't have to be bugged by the people that's around or things like that.
mhm. And that's the daughter that's in the house still. He's not tracking down the ones that.
No, I'm not gonna call them. Hey, is your car empty? I'll be over there to put gas in it. Add your pen for the gas?
Yeah, that's probably what
No.
she's probably watching. Like, you haven't done my
You-
gas in a long time.
you driving 20 minutes to put gas in my car? Man. Yeah. It's just for the daughters in
In the house,
the
though.
house.
The other daughter. And
I
the
mean,
daughters-in-laws will be like,
if they come
wait,
over
where's...
here, then I might be able to help. But I'm not gonna drive till you can put gas in.
They'll be over here every day.
Right. Dad, my car need gas.
Oh, man. So, um, I would also encourage you to reflect on when you met, how you did things. If there's something that you haven't done in a long time and they enjoyed it, do it. So, for example, something that James used to do in the beginning of our relationship, he used to write poetry to me all the time, write me letters, all that kind of stuff. And of course, going into marriage, you get complacent and, it didn't happen as often. Now, over the last 2 years, he picked back up writing poetry to me. So I'll get poetry every once in a blue moon um, in text form. It'll be on a piece of paper being left for me somewhere. Um,
Is that a hint for me to see?
no, no.
Oh,
No, I just think that that's just something that
no, that's
you
good.
can
Yeah,
do.
it's true.
Like, if there's something that you did on a normal basis in the
Yeah.
beginning of your relationship, the thought process is your spouse might actually miss a portion of that. It's not something you have to do all the time, but just every once in a blue moon, let them know that you've been thinking about the things that transpired in the beginning of your marriage and you're still that person. You haven't left that person back. I mean, you can leave some of that person if you weren't saved. You weren't in a good place. It's okay to leave portions of that person back there, but start to incorporate good things from the beginning of your relationship into who and what you are now. Uh,
Hey, just know if you haven't started now, you probably got about 203 to 206 days to schedule messages or text or poetries to send to your spouse. That's a lot of scheduling. Like you go, you gonna be there for a while, but every day like, oh, bing, I love you, bing, I love you. But that's besides the point.
and I guess
Techie,
if you're a techie kind of person,
don't get technic.
I would encourage you to write something about your spouse, right? I think it might be kind of cool. I don't know. I haven't done it, haven't tried it, but maybe something like write something in like Chat GPT or something like that about who your spouse is, how they are to you, important things that they have said, they have done, like kind of give a major big description of who your spouse is to you, how you see them, and then ask for like you just said, like a whole week's worth
Yeah.
of I love you phrases based off of who they are and what they do, especially if you're not a very creative person,
Copy,
that
paste.
that might be a cool little way to kind of put that in your phone and send it to them.
Yeah.
But just know that once you start a trend of something,
Copy, paste. Send.
you're going to want to continue to do it. So it's better for you to do something every once in a blue moon than it is for you to start something that you cannot finish.
Yeah. And just continue to show your spouse that love and affection through whatever platform, whatever avenue, whatever physical touch, whatever mannerism that you decide. But just don't stop because once you stop, then things get a little idle. So just continue to press forward.
I think one thing that's really good about romance and affection is that that you're not bored. Like it's you can be consistent, but don't make it just um, going through the motions. Like whatever it is that you do, actually put your mind, your soul, your effort into loving your spouse well.
Yeah.
And I think that that makes all of the world of difference. And if I could just say one more thing, it would be when you touch, look for ways to love and touch your spouse, knowing that it may not lead you to the bedroom. But understand when you love and touch your spouse often and with affection, um, not groping, not like just that might be love and affection to you, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's love and affection to your spouse. And it may give a message to your spouse, a message that you're not meaning to send. It may be triggering for your spouse. There may be situations that they have experienced in the past that it's triggering. You don't want to do that. So touch them on a knee, touch them on a leg, touch them on their arm, hold their hand. There's times I like pull James in. Like or sometimes he does that to me. Lean up against them. Things that will be a little bit different to you, different to them. They might even be confused because you don't do it at all. Who knows? But just try. That's where some of the best things happen is when you just try. See what comes about
Yep.
and just enjoy your journey with your spouse. Other than that, unless you have something more,
I admit.
we love you guys and we hope the best for you in your marriage. Ciao.
Peace.